Welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and welcome to Beard Week. Covered Bloodbeard yesterday, and we're covering Greenbeard, Pello of Tyrosh, from the A Song of Ice and Fire lore. That's what I do here. I talk about A Song of Ice and Fire lore, and I do all this. Pause it, read it. Spoilers! Definitely for the show and for the books. Well, more for the books, but also the show. I mean, kind of goes over a lot of Arya's plot. So, yeah, that's it. I'm really excited. I'm excited for Greenbeard. This was a request from Real Talker Walk. And I had like a huge stretch of no request from him. And then he dropped a bunch all at once. And I was able to kind of, instead of just sometime next year, you get like 9. I don't just want to dedicate multiple months to just his request. So I kind of spaced them apart, and I found a good way to add this one because I was already covering Bloodbeard. So I was like, let's just make it a beard week. And yeah, that's what we did. I kind of screwed myself because it was really hard to get all 3 of these written this week because I don't know if you guys know this, but I got a new little kid here, and between full-time work, being a husband, and father of 2 kids, baby, not a lot of sleep. Hard to do one of these hobbies too, but here we are. Click like and subscribe, please. All right, what are we doing yet? Pello of Tyrosh. Pello of Tyrosh, better known as Greenbeard, is a Tyroshi member of the Brotherhood without manners and is one of their leaders. Pello's beard is colored bright green, but it is starting to grow gray. He is taller and bigger than Lemon Cloak, tall enough to look the Hound in the eye. Not just like a dog. I mean, Sandor Clegane, he can look eye to eye. Not that I wouldn't mess with Sandor. According to So Spake Martin, which is like something that Martin was doing a long time ago. George R. R. Martin was putting out, I would say, blog posts where he was talking about the books. And So Spake Martin was so according to him, he's most likely a deserter of the War of 5 Kings. And which deserter specifically, we will talk about later. So don't worry about it. But first, let's talk about the Brotherhood without banners. The Brotherhood without banners, also known as the Knights of the Hollow Hill and the Forgotten Fellowship, is an outlaw group who initially fights Lannister rule in the name of King Robert. They are led by the Lightning Lord Beric Dondarrion. The group is founded in the Riverlands by soldiers and nobles who were sent by the then Hand of the King Arya Starks, good old Neddy, good old dead Ned, to bring Gregor Clegane to justice after they are ambushed while crossing a ford, the Mummers Ford, and it nearly defeated. The group continues to fight as a guerrilla group. Their numbers increase as they are joined by defeated soldiers from other battles, deserters, and refugees from the War of the 5 Kings, and it take on the mission of protecting the small folk from the sides of the war, of any side of the war. So the bad stuff, I don't know why I use words I can't read. Every man from the Brotherhood receives a knighthood from Beric. Yeah. There you guys go. All right. Traveling through the Riverlands. Arya Stark. Arya's the POV throughout this entire time. So I'm going to be talking about Arya a lot. Meets Greenbeard when she visits the Inn at the Kneeling Man, who I did just talk about for my video for Husband, which I think was actually a really good, it was a better video than it needed to be because it was for Husband. I feel like that actually was a really good one. So please, it was my April Fool's vid because it's for a character named Husband. It didn't do super well. Not a lot of people Googling Husband, right? So go check that out if you haven't, please. So after they leave the Inn at the Kneeling Man, or maybe before they left, we're not really, it's either before they left or after they left. We're not really sure when Greenbeard joins them. It is hard to pinpoint the exact time, but yeah. We know that the chapter she has, while she's there, he's not there, and when she leaves, he's with her. So yeah. So whenever. So yeah. So where am I? He is part of the band that depart the inn with Arya as Hot Pie decides to stay back with Sharna and Husband. I re-listened to that chapter, and I should have brought up in the Husband vid, but Hot Pie says something really funny when he's like, yeah, they call me Hot Pie. It's like, well, no, not Sharna. She just calls me boy and calls the other boy. I don't know how they'll tell us apart. Does Sharna just hate names? Husband, that's not my name. Shut up, husband. Grab boy. Hot Pie or boy. They're both boys. Sharna just hates names. All right. Off to see the Lightning Lord, the wonderful Lightning Lord of Oz. Wait, no, not ready yet. So they stop at I went to spoilers. They stop at a burned village that at first seemed to be abandoned until Jack Be Lucky blows his horn and villagers then crawl out of the ruins. And one of the villagers state that there were men who were looking for Jamie. And Lem said that they should be looking in the dungeons of Riverrun, but a different villager says that the Kingslayer escaped. So yeah, Jaime Lannister escaped. This is how they find out. Jack B. Lucky wonders how he escaped, and Greenbeard says, the wolves will drown in blood if the Kingslayer is loose again. Thoros must be told. The Lord of Light will show him Lannister in the flames. I guess I didn't do that the way that... I don't know how Greenbeard should talk. He has like an accent or something. I don't know. I guess I just decided I'm not doing it because I stumbled through that whole thing. The wolves will drown in blood if the Kingslayer is loose again. So I'll go with that. Thoros must be told because the Lord of Light will show... Lannister in the flames. So to that, the archer named Angie says that they have fire here, and Greenbeard laughs and says, do I look like a priest to you, archer? When Pello of Tyrosh peers into the flames, the cinders singe his beard. They declare that Lord Beric will give JD a trial before hanging him. It's like, hey, at least they'll give him a trial before he kills him, which is pretty funny. I didn't think about it. Should I do like an accent or something for Greenbeard? What would he have? Tyrosh is kind of like, I can't do a French accent. I can't. I don't know. Yeah, I always thought of them as like kind of like a Paris, but I don't know. We'll see. The next morning, so I'll have to see the Lightning Lord. Now we're gonna do that one. All right. The next morning, she realizes they're going the wrong way and not to Riverrun, and she confronts Lem and Tom, but she knows Greenbeard is the leader, and she looks to him, saying that if he takes her to Riverrun, he will be rewarded. And yeah, because they said they're bringing the Riverrun, and Greenbeard goes, little one, a peasant may skin a common squirrel for his pot. But if he finds a golden squirrel in his tree, he takes it to his lord. Or he will wish he did. I guess I'm going with that one. When Arya protests that she is not a squirrel, he goes, you are. He laughs. A little gold squirrel who's off to see the Lightning Lord, the wonderful Lightning Lord of all. So sorry. Whether she wills it or not, he'll know what's to do with you. I'll wager he sends you back to your mother just as you wish. So then Tom of Seven Streams adds that Beric will do right by her. She asks why she needs to see Beric, and Angie says that they bring all their highborn captives. He uses the word captives. Angie, are you stupid? Upon hearing that word, she rides away as fast as she can. She tries to run. She's like, I'm a captive. And then right behind her is Greenbeard, Jack Be Lucky, Harwin, Angie, and Lem. And then, they all ride after her. Lem falls behind first, and then Greenbeard is next to fall behind. And eventually, it's only Harwin who catches up with her. So, yeah, I think I'm sounding too much like David Reed's again. Go watch David Reed's A Song of Ice and Fire for all your audiobook needs here on YouTube. Leicester, The Lady of the Leaves, and a burned sept. So, yeah, if you haven't noticed yet, in covering Greenbeard, I thought this would be a very small part. Because if you look at, or a very small video, this was originally my Monday video, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be longer than my Friday video. I thought this was going to be shorter than Bloodbeard is what I'm trying to say, but definitely more slides than Bloodbeard. And it's because if I look at the wiki where I immediately judge, oh, how long is this video going to be? Should I do it before I start diving in and re-listening to all the chapters and finding all the information I need to? I look at just the wiki, and this is one of those characters that the wiki barely covers. Definitely does not cover everything he does. And it's because pretty much the entire travels through the Riverlands when they're looking for Beric that Arya does, Greenbeard is with. So and he says things here and there because he's technically commanding them, right? He's the commander. So keep in mind, that's what we're doing here. We're doing all of the travels that she does with the Brotherhood Without Manners through the Riverlands. So, yeah. The outlaws continue to search for a Beric. They first visit the Lord Lyman Leicester, hearing from his maester that Beric was caught by Lannisters and they hanged him. But Lem says that's true, but Thoros cut him down. Like, that's a death that happened a while ago. And Thoros brought him back to life. Like, that's not a big deal. We knew he got hanged. That's not news. The maester asks if they will go ask the Lady of the Leaves. And Greenbeard says they shall. So when they speak to the Lady of the Leaves in her Ewok village in the trees, yeah, this chick lives in an Ewok village. And it's also very brief. It's like one paragraph there with the Lady of the Leaves. Yeah, and she lives in an Ewok. She lives with Jet from Avatar. Like, she has one of those, like, it's like a treehouse village of rebels. Jet's probably with his hook swords. Whatever happened to that guy? I don't know. The show was very vague about it. So where was I? Yeah, so they go talk to her in the Ewok village, and she tells them that the mountain killed him with a dagger, but they said that's also old news. Yeah, that's an old death. That doesn't matter. At a burned sept called Sally Dance, they hear that the sept was burned by Northmen, possibly the ones we're about to see. And Arya notices that the leader of the sept is wearing black armor with a lightning bolt on his cloak. And Greenbeard tells her, the lightning lord is everywhere and nowhere, skinny squirrel. Yeah, he just calls her squirrel because she's a gold squirrel. She tells him that she is not a squirrel and that she's almost a woman soon and will be 11. And he says, best watch out I don't marry you then. And then he tries to tickle her. Or, yeah, gross. Gross. All my like for Greenbeard goes away. If I act like I don't like Greenbeard, because I don't. Because she goes, I'm 11, or I will be 11 soon. He's like, watch out. What? She said 11, not 23, you creep. Jeez. And then he's like, hoo, tickling her and stuff. I don't like Greenbeard. I don't. They arrive at High Heart, an ancient hill sacred to the children of the forest. 31 mighty weirwoods once stood at the top of the hill, but there's only their stumps remain, and after the Andals chopped them all down. Tom tells her that the hill is haunted by ghosts of the children of the forest. Arya can still feel the power of this place. Yeah. It's not a ghost of a child. It's a child of the forest. All right, Ghost of High Heart. I'm going to make like a joke about it once I get into this, but I will state I 100% believe the Ghost of High Heart is a child of the forest. Like, yeah, it doesn't look completely because they have like spots. They're very deer-like. They have 3 hands. They don't look too much like, but I think that the ghost is absolutely just a child wearing a glamour to make her look like a person. But the fact she's hundreds of years old and she's tiny like a child of the forest and she has glowing red eyes. I'm sorry, but yeah, 100%. The High Heart and Acorn Hall. The old dwarf woman who identifies not as a child of the forest, cough, cough, speaks in private to Lem, Tom, and Greenbeard, but Arya overhears the conversation, and she tells him, the old gods stir and will not let me sleep. I dreamt I saw a shadow with a burning heart butchering a golden stag. I dreamt of a man without a face, waiting on a bridge that swayed and swung. On his shoulder was preached a drowned crow with the seaweed hanging from his wings. These are the death of kings, by the way. I dream of a roaring river with a woman that was a fish. Dead she drifted. the red tears on her cheeks. But when her eyes did open, oh, I woke from death. All this I dreamt and more. And then Tom sings her a song. Yeah, so she's like, yeah, I dreamt of the death of Renly, the death of Balon, and also the resurrection of Catelyn. And also just the idea of her waking up when her like eyes, like she like wakes up scared, like just like Catelyn's like drifting and like her like dream mind's eye zooms in like this like cinematic cutscene, and then she zooms in, and then Catelyn's like, and she's like, ah! And she wakes up like, oh my god, that's pretty scary. All right, at Acorn Hall, this is another place they stop. Lady Ravella Smallwood insists that Arya be dressed as a proper highborn lady. At dinner, Greenbeard asks if she knows where Beric and Thoros were, and she informs them that Thoros has been through recently and that the Karstark men are searching for the Kingslayer. She said she sent them to Stony Sept, and that Greenbeard sends Arya out to the yard so they can talk. Yeah. Arya's like listening in and stuff, and yeah, so they're like, get out of here. But yeah, anyways, that's the Acorn Hall. I mean, I kind of forget about the whole Acorn Hall thing, that they stay with like a highborn who gives Arya a bath and makes her wear a dress. It's pretty. I like Acorn Hall. That's a cool scene. At Stony Sept, well, the Brotherhood without banners enter Stony Sept. While they enter it, most of the townsfolk stay hidden, but they slowly come out of hiding. Arya is disturbed to find Northmen. These are most likely the Karstark men who have been looking for Jaime, I'm assuming, starved in cages that the Mad Huntsman put them in for justice for attacking the small folk. I covered the Mad Huntsman a long time ago. I won't be doing a remake of him. He's past that line of when I'm doing remakes. But yeah, definitely a really interesting character, and I think I did a pretty good job. I definitely went back and listened to a bunch of his chapters, so I think I gave him some good information. But yeah, if you want to remember who the Mad Huntsman is, did a video for him. So yeah, the Mad Huntsman put them in a cage for attacking small folk, and Angie puts the survivors out of their misery. Yeah, I'm making this short, or I'm making this long story short here, because like Arya like tries to feed him water, and there's like a huge thing, and the small folk get really mad about it, and Angie shoots him. Yeah, it's just, that's not important. The Brotherhood without banners stop for the night at the Peach, which is a brothel. The busty redhead named Tenzi says to Greenbeard, Greenbeard, is it? Or Greybeard? Mother take mercy. When did you get so old? The group stays at the Peach, and they bathe, and then later Arya sees Greenbeard sitting with two girls on his lap, and then also later on, Greenbeard is abed with Tansy at the Peach when the Mad Huntsman returns to Stony Sept with Sandor Clegane. Dun, dun, dun. All right. At Hollow Hill. There you go. We made it, guys. All through the travels, right? Arya and Gendry are blindfolded until they reach the Hollow Hill, the secret base of the Forgotten Fellowship of the Ring. No, not of the Ring. Nope. Greenbeard tells Arya, here's the wizard, skinny squirrel. You'll get your answers now. So he points at Thoros, and she's like, that's Thoros? He looks different. The Mad Huntsman presents the Hound before she can go over and talk, so this is postponing her talk to her. However, the Lightning Lord sentences, it's like a really cool scene, right? And he sentences him to the trial by battle, and the Hound asks many of them which one he will fight. So he's like, the one in the yellow, am I going to fight you? What about you? What about you? And then one of them is Greenbeard. And then, no, Beric's like, no, you'll fight me. So yeah, Dondarrion, and yeah, they take all their armor off. And before the fight, Thoros says a prayer to R'hllor, and Dondarrion cuts open his palm, and it causes his sword to take fire, which is really cool. The fire ends, or the fight ends with Clegane's shield destroyed and his left arm in flames, but the Hound cuts Targaryen shoulder to breastbone. Yeah, cuts him pretty good. Pello, Greenbeard, by the way, his name Pello, is sent with the Mad Huntsman to buy grain south of the Mander with the gold confiscated by the Hound. The Hound had a bunch of gold from his tourney winnings, right? Was it the hand? No, not the hands tourney. Yeah, that's the one he won, right? Is it hands tourney? Or was the one at Joffrey's name day? I can't remember. You guys are telling me. I think it's a hands tourney. Pello, yeah. So they take that gold and they're going to buy grain. And Greenbeard is included among the followers of Lake Beric Dondarrion rather than the supporters of Lady Stoneheart. I do find it funny that that's the split, Beric or Stoneheart, considering Beric had to die in order to make Stoneheart. So we don't really know. But yeah, we don't see him later on. And that's it. That's the end of Greenbeard. So yeah. Tyroshi Sellsword. This was a request by Real Talker Buck. I couldn't find any real theories, but if I had to guess where he possibly came from, and I'm just going to talk about that, Martin said that in that So Spake Martin, that he is a deserter from the War of the Five Kings, and we know that there is a group of Tyroshi sellswords, or just a Tyroshi sellsword that was under Forley Prester that went over to Rob towards the start of the war. It is very possible that he was either the Tyroshi sellsword or he was part of his group, though there is confusion about the Tyroshi sellswords. So yeah, I'll explain this confusion now. George R. R. Martin admitted that he forgot about the Tyroshi sellsword in the novels after Game of Thrones, though he stated the likeliness of Robb Stark having kept most of the free riders during his excursion into the Westerlands, as well as a possibility of the Tyroshi, along with some of the other free riders, deserting Robb to plunder for themselves. Martin also mentioned that in Storm of Swords, there is a Tyroshi outlaw, that's Greenbeard, in the Riverlands, the Greenbeard of the Brotherhood with their banners, who may have been a deserter, though he was not sure if he deserted Jaime or Robb. So he's leading us to make our own headcanon here, right? He's like, oh yeah, there are Tyroshi deserters, or there are Tyroshi that flip from Forley Prester over to Robb. Maybe they desert him, maybe they don't. And we do know that this guy is a deserter, and I haven't decided from where yet. So it's kind of up to our headcanon. And I think that makes sense. We wonder where Greenbeard came from, why there's a Tyroshi around. There were Tyroshis that already flipped. Then it would make a lot of sense if you are a sellsword who's flipping allegiances. Maybe you don't even care and you'll just desert. Get some dessert. So, yeah, that makes sense if that's his origins. But, yeah, what do you think? And that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching. This was Greenbeard. I hope you enjoyed Beard Week. I trimmed right before it. I literally trimmed like a couple hours before I filmed these. So I was just a little bushy. I wasn't like these guys, big, huge beard. I did back in the day. I had like a huge mountain man beard once. It's a lot of work. So I kind of keep it a little shakier than this, but about this. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Click like, subscribe. Check out Bloodbeard if you didn't. And yeah, peace.